Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we have another mental health related video for you guys. If you don't know what that was. This video is about the kind of things which I have realised throughout my mental health journey, which I feel like are less obvious, or anyway were less obvious to me. And I feel like if I had known this earlier, I would have been a lot nicer to myself. I feel like I would have been a lot more understanding within myself for my own journey. Does that make sense? These are some things that I hope will give you peace of mind for the future and just get into a more positive mindset and understanding mindset about your own mind. Okay, so the first thing to remember is your mental health is ever changing. So when I first sort of realised that I struggled with my mental health, when I first sort of identified it, if you guys have watched my other mental health videos, then you will already know the story. Long story short, things just kind of within myself reached a climax. It reached a point where it was very, very, very clear to me. Now, when I look back, I can say that I know that I've struggled with my mental health since I was 5 years old. That's probably like my earliest memory of something which I can pinpoint. It took a lot of time to understand it for myself and understand all the different facets to it. Obviously, the first step is identifying it, right? And that takes time in itself, especially when it's a kind of new concept to yourself. And it took me time. But once I had eventually felt like I understood every aspect of my mental health struggles, when I thought I had understood it all, I thought that was it. I thought I'd understood it all. So I was like, okay, cool. I've seen it all. Now I just need to work on addressing it, you know? Nah, like it's not that. That's what I thought it was. And then it really threw me when I realised that I started to find other things over time about my mental health, which I didn't realise before. And I was like, wait, what? Like, I didn't know that this was something that I did, or I didn't know that this is something that triggered me, or I haven't seen this side of my mind before, or my struggles before. And that's when I realised it's not like you find them and then they're the only like things that you feel you have to tackle. It will change, it will develop, it will grow just as you do as a person. Your mind grows too, your struggles grow too. So you can develop some that you didn't know that you had before. You just genuinely didn't have before. You can literally develop them. And I feel like it was really stressful at the start, because I was like, wait, what? Like, what? It just kind of threw me off. And then it sounds obvious now saying it out loud, like, well, yeah, obviously it's going to change, but like, I feel like when you're in it, you don't expect new things to come up when you feel like you've been so in touch with understanding your mind. You don't expect new things to come to the surface, which is why I think it's so important to remember it changes, and that's normal and that's okay. If you've identified other things about your mental health before, you've done it, you've identified it, and you've started working on actively trying to sort it out and make it healthier, right? You've done it once, you can do it again. I know that it can throw you off and almost make you feel like you don't know yourself when you find something new. Be like, what? Since when? Like, since when? But it's okay. The point is that you've acknowledged it, you found it, and then you can start working on it. But yeah, that's why I think it's really important to just remember that you can come across new things, and don't let it freak you out. Like, it's cool. You can take that on just as you've taken on everything else up until this point. Okay, next one is your progress with your mental health is not linear. Let's say you've got that one thing, there's that one pinpointed thing within your mental health that you have identified and you've been working on, and you know how you're going to work on it. You know, you've been working really hard. You've got this, like, you're actively doing it day in, day out. You're feeling good. And then there'll be a day when you just like almost relapse. You just go back on everything that you thought you had passed. And I know I have a tendency to be very hard on myself, so I'm very, very familiar with this point. It hits me, and I get so like frustrated with myself, and I hate that I do that, but this is all part of it. It's all like, you need to understand that you can't let that throw you off, because it's normal. The whole process of working on your mental health is hard. Don't let anyone make you think that it's easy, because it's not. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's easy. It's not. And you're going to come across bumps in the road. But I felt like when I'd noticed things and I'd got to a point where I was able to overcome them, that I will continue to be able to overcome them. But it's really not like that. There will be days when those old habits come running back, and that's okay. That's normal. Like, take it in your stride, and the next day you try again. You pick yourself up again and you try again. And it's normal to come across those obstacles, and I think it's really important to normalize those bumps. It doesn't mean that you've taken a step back. It's actually a step forward, because it's normal to get that. You know, like you're always going to come across triggers in your life. There's always going to be things that come up which will make those bad habits, those old habits kind of come, and then you have to work a little bit harder to actively push them down again and work on them. And that's normal, and it is actually a step forward. Even if it feels like a step back, it is a step forward. Think of it as like, you know, a graph, yeah? Your progress is going to be like this, yeah? It's going up. But that doesn't mean that when you zoom in, it's not a steady line like that. It will be like this. Like, it will literally be like this. But when you look at it from afar, it's doing that, but it's still going up. It's still on an incline, but it's got a few bumps along the way. It's not smooth sailing. It's not linear, but it's still going up. Okay, the next one is, you will meet people in your life that just will not understand your mental struggles, and that is okay. This one, like, I think we can all say that we've been in a scenario like this, whether it's a family member, whether it's a friend, whether it's a colleague, doesn't matter. Like, you will come across people that just don't understand. They just don't understand. And it's so easy to put blame on them or get frustrated or think of it as something, like, kind of take it personally. But don't. This is the thing. No matter how much someone loves you or cares for you or wants to understand something, some people just struggle to understand it. And that's due to a lot of things. It can be their life experiences, the exposure in the particular thing that you're struggling with. A lot of the time when things aren't normalised, things aren't spoken about, people fear it. If people don't know it, if they're not familiar with it, they're not comfortable with it. And when they're not comfortable with it, they're afraid of it. And that's why talking about mental health is so important, because we need to normalise the fact that it's a thing so that people can understand it and people that are struggling can feel supported. But the point is, it's not that person's fault, and don't think of it as, you know, they're not trying, they don't love me, they're not da-da-da. Like, you can't put it down to that, because it's not always that. Sometimes people just haven't had those kind of experiences. If you think about it, your mental health struggles are how your mind works. It is so difficult for you yourself to understand how your mind works. As I mentioned, it changes all the time. You can surprise yourself. Things can pop up that you didn't know were there. So imagine how difficult it is for someone else to not just understand their own mind, but to understand yours, when it's even hard for you to understand yours, right? So what I'm saying is, be patient, it's okay, and don't take it personally if someone struggles to understand what you're going through. Okay, the next one is, it's not something that you fix once and then it's sorted. So you can come across a particular thing, right? A particular bump or a struggle that you can pinpoint in your mind. And once you've done the hard work to address it and overcome it, you can often think that it's something you can kind of tick off your list, like, done that, I no longer have that trait, that's no longer something that I struggle with, I've risen above, I've overcome it, I've put in the hard work, I'm good. And then suddenly it will pop up and you're like, what? Like, you were from back in the day, what are you doing here? And that's normal as well. And this is something that is really annoying and hit me as well. I didn't expect it. Like, I didn't realise that would happen. And I know it can sound stupid now, but at the time, I was like, what? I dealt with you. This doesn't make sense. But it's not something that you can address once, deal with once, and it's done forever. If you stop doing that active work to keep it on lock, it can come back up. So certain things I worked really, really hard to overcome, and I did overcome them, and they were through things like regular meditation, regular journaling, stuff like that, things that I was actively doing for myself. Then I went through a period where my mental health seemed like the most stable that it had been before, and a lot of my bad habits I wasn't noticing them. So I became lazy and I became complacent, right? And I thought I was good now. I was like, I did the hard work, I overcame it, I'm good. What had actually happened was the things that were going on in my life, there were no triggers. I was just very lucky that I had a period where things didn't necessarily... Yes, I had controlled it a lot more, but there were also a lot less triggers in my life at that point in my life. Then, because it's inevitable, life throws us curved balls, yeah? It's just a matter of time. And you just need to know how to deal with them. Point is, then when I next got the curved ball, I fumbled it. All the bad stuff came rushing back, and I was like, whoa, like, what's going on? Like, I had done this. What is going on? And it was because I had stopped doing those maintenance things to look after my mind and make sure that I was continuously good, because I thought that I was fine. I thought I had passed it. I thought I'd overcome it. It's something you need to continuously, actively give attention and time to. I cannot stress this enough, and this is something that I struggle with as well, because it's so easy to get lazy with it. When you don't feel the negative impacts of it, it's so easy to just let it go, like let the maintenance go. But the important thing is you need to keep up those things, whether you're in a good place or a bad place. If you start doing those things only when you're in a bad place, then yeah, you'll be fine when you're in a good place, but if something bad suddenly comes up, it's going to throw you off. Whereas if you've been continuously doing those things to look after your mind throughout the good bit as well as the bad bit, then when the next bad thing comes, your rocky bit won't be as rocky, because you will have already been looking after your mind throughout. You've not let it fall off and then you're trying to get back on it. Does that make sense? So what I'm saying is, it's not something that you can just tick off your list. You need to continuously check in with yourself, and even when you feel like you're good, don't get lazy. Don't get lazy with it. Okay, and finally, it's more in your control than you realise. And I know that this is a really annoying one to hear, because you're like, well, if I could control it, I would. And I get it. Trust me, I get it. But the reason why you feel like certain parts of it aren't in your control is because it's just really, really difficult to control. It doesn't mean it's impossible to control. It doesn't mean that it's not in your hands. It's only in your hands. You are the only person that has the power to control your mind. No one else, only you. But the reason why it feels like it's so difficult to get to that place is because it's not easy. It doesn't mean that it's unattainable. It just means that you're going to have to keep at it, and you might need to do a lot more work than you initially thought it would involve. But you have more control over your mind than you feel like you do. And I know that's really annoying to hear, because it's like, ugh, yeah, easier said than done. Like, if I wanted to stop it, I would stop it. You think I don't want to stop it? I'm the one feeling the negatives of this. Trust me, I know. But it's true, and it's kind of annoying to hear, but it's true. So my point is, don't give up on it. Don't give up on it. Keep going, because you are getting closer to that place where you're going to be able to control it. But you just need to be patient with yourself and keep at it, and you will get to that place. Okay guys, so they are all of the points that I've come up with. I really hope that they were valuable, that they opened your mind to something that you didn't really think of before. And I hope it allows you to just be nicer to yourself, be kinder to yourself, and be more patient with yourself, because I wish I had heard these things when I was at the start of my mental health journey. So I really hope that I was able to give you guys a bit of that. But anyway, I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and also drop me a comment. Let me know if you want to see more mental health content, because that's like, it's the direction I want to go in, but I just want to make sure that you guys are happy with it and you like it. So let me know if you've got any specific suggestions as well, because this is something that I want to focus more and more on. But thank you guys so much for watching. I love you. Stay smiling, stay safe, stay positive, and I will see you next time. Mwah. Bye guys.